to kick it old school. So you can feel cool. Give it to me, baby. Baby. Yeah. Folks, it's time to kick it old school. So you can feel cool. Give it to me, baby. Baby. Yeah. Well, folks, it's time to kick it old school. So you can feel cool. Give it to me, baby. Baby. Yeah. folks, it's time to kick it old school. So you can feel cool. Give it to me, baby. Baby. Yeah. Well, folks, it's time to kick it old school. So you can feel cool. Give it to me, baby. Baby. Yeah.
What's up, everybody? 2021 is here. A lot of stuff happening.
Outrageous Fun. Season 3.
What's up, everybody?
What's up?
How we doing?
Pretty good.
Good. It's fucking cold as hell.
Yo!
Dude.
I think we were talking about this last week, but
No.
it's like brittle.
It's different
it's
kind of
shit
cold.
cold.
Yeah, it's a different kind of cold right now.
It hit hard.
I'm wearing fucking thick-ass yellow sweatpants. Right? I literally grabbed these sweatpants because I woke up today and I was seeing my own breath in my room. I left the windows open.
I don't believe you.
No, it's called hyperbole. I'm exaggerating for
Right.
effect. But so I was like, I can't imagine myself wearing anything less warm than these sweatpants tonight.
When you bought them, I commented on this yesterday, but when you bought them, did you think I'm going to look like the situation? Because you do know there's
Unreal.
only other... Did you just hit your head twice, Frankie?
Yo, I'm going to answer your comment, but I have another comment, and I think I've had this comment 18 times throughout the course of this podcast. There's no way when Frankie does other podcasts that he's sprinting across the goddamn set like 6
100%.
times. There's no way,
100%.
dude. What is going?
Did
What
we
is
need
always
to-
going on with that
Do we
camera
need
that
to
we're
finish
fixing?
this is half closed.
What's close?
The brick.
Oh
the
shit!
brick wall.
Our brick
brick
titties
wall.
are closed. Jesus Christ! What is going on over here? Fucking-
So anyway, back to
Anywho,
my point.
When we get picked up by a real network, maybe he'll put some care.
Yeah.
So did I say I want to look like
you
the
are
situation
the only
today?
other person I know who wears mustard yellow sweatpants.
Let me
The
tell you.
last time I saw mustard yellow sweatpants was when the situation went to Italy, and then Abercrombie and Fitch paid him like $1 million to stop wearing their clothes.
Yeah. I'm just waiting for somebody to pay me to stop wearing these fucking pants.
Right.
That'd be sick. No, I like these fucking pants. You don't like colorful pants?
I do. It makes me annoyed how good
I
you look in them.
I don't wear them. I actually haven't worn them.
dude.
I haven't worn them in public. I wore them in public once. I got in my car in them.
I
This is
can
my
see
first
you
time
in
wearing them out of the
those
house.
and your Birkenstocks.
Oh, the white
and-
ones.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I did laundry in these last night, and then I was like, these are for tomorrow. You
Right.
know, I'm vibing these pants. You know why I started wearing them in public? I mean, you're gonna hate the reason. I was watching the Kid Cudi documentary. I already owned the sweatpants, and I was wearing them in the house, and I wore them once
Allegedly.
to work out and hated it. And what?
At the gym?
Yeah, I wore them to the gym. Well, I was out. It was fucking the first cold day, and
The
I
Long
did the
Beach
only
gym
sweatpants
with all
I
the
had.
hot people?
Yeah,
You wore those to the Long Beach gym with the hot people?
I did.
All right. Okay.
Yeah, it was. It wasn't a good idea.
Right.
But I was watching the Kid Cudi documentary, and ASAP Rocky was like getting interviewed, and he was wearing a jeans jacket, but just fully buttoned to the top, which is vibey if you're cool like ASAP Rocky, and fucking yellow sweatpants. And I was like, I could probably pull out some denim and some, and that's what I'm doing.
There you go.
You know.
All right.
So situation, just as bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, but you make it look better than the situation.
I appreciate
I
that.
feel like if anything, Fabletics, which is the clothes that you're wearing, would
It is Fabletics. Shout
would
out.
be about you wearing their clothes.
Also, in my defense, and to kind of say fuck Fabletics, even though I love their clothes, they make these pants look so cool on the website. Like I order them online because everything's online there. They make these look like, oh, you can wear them with anything. They're easy. They look great. They put like a light skinned black guy in them, and you're like, I'm gonna look just like that guy with blue eyes.
Right.
You don't look like that guy with blue
you
eyes.
don't.
You
No, you
never
don't.
do. Rarely.
Fabletics is the Stephen Barry's of athleisure.
Listen. I don't
They're
think
cheapies, dude. I
disagree.
ordered one pair of shorts of them, a large, one of the best pair of shorts I've ever owned. I was like, I'm gonna get some more of these in more colors, same size, same pair of shorts.
It's not the same pair of shorts. Though.
It is
It's
the
a
same pair
different
of
cut.
shorts. The green one is the same cut. The maroon one is a different cut, and they both accentuate my nuts like no shorts I've ever done in my life, and I can't wear them. I gave them to you.
You did give them to me, and I can't wear them in public either. There's something fucked up about those pants.
That's what I'm saying.
And your nut situation is way more prevalent.
Yeah, but the shorts that I do have, you can't tell that
No.
I have a situation.
Well, I have
The
three
situation.
I have 3 pairs of Fabletics shorts. They're all fucking great, and then the ones you gave me are fucked up. But like,
I got a bad cut.
But they're made well though. Like the material, this material is like legit.
Well, why don't they look as good as you think they were going to look as that?
They do
light-skinned
look
man?
good. Honestly, they do look good. But like, I could never find things
that
to wear
okay?
with these
Yeah, but why did you think that on the website you were going to look?
because it's just
Did
like
you
a guy.
Did you buy those sweatpants and then realize you're not a light-skinned black guy?
No, I was pretty aware that I
Okay,
wasn't
just
a light-skinned black
making
guy.
sure,
I bought the sweatpants because, like, when you're looking at a guy looking good on them online, you don't think in your head, like, oh, I'm going to have to be, like, Brooklyn trendy to wear this yellow pair of sweatpants. You're just like, oh, it's sweatpants. I'll just look good in them.
Right.
But then you're like, oh, I have, like, one shirt that I could possibly wear with a yellow pair of sweatpants. And then there happens to be a jean jacket, and then you're in this situation.
Blue and yellow.
Blue and yellow.
East Meadow Gold.
What up?
So Thanksgiving is this week.
Yeah, dude, it is. Can't fucking wait.
Can't wait. It's the holiday season. I love the holiday season.
Me too,
I'm feeling
man.
very jolly.
Yeah,
Jolly's the word, man.
I get jolly after Thanksgiving. I'm like,
I'm pretty
just-
jolly.
I'm just-
I kind of lean into Christmas.
yeah, that's
I'm there.
preemptive.
I'm
That's
there.
the second time you've worn this that week.
This
Worn that this week?
I've worn this exact outfit.
Yeah, that
Even the
you
jeans I was wearing.
you were test wearing. You were test riding that fucking flannel,
and
and
it
it
crushed.
fucked. So
fucked.
the first thing I said to you when I walked in, I was like, "That's a nice new flannel."
Yeah. So I love, dude, Christmas for me, it kind of flirts with Thanksgiving. Like I would never go
I
full
completely-
blown. Of course, that's a
it's
controversial
so
take.
separate for me.
It's a controversial take.
Not according to the fucking radio, because there's Christmas songs and shit on all day now.
Oh, I mean, they've been doing Christmas Pumptober, pumpkin spice shit ended, and then they just like it's Christmas now.
that's also
It's
a very
summer,
confusing thing because pumpkin spice is still
season,
chilling.
and then Christmas, and that's America.
But pumpkin spice is still in until like a few weeks from now. It'll be gingerbread.
Yeah, but they really jam it down your throat early on.
Can I say something?
What up?
I'm a huge pumpkin spice guy.
Yeah?
Gingerbread? Yeah.
No, especially in the iced coffee situation.
It's so
pumpkin-
subpar.
A pumpkin spice iced coffee cold brew. It doesn't have shit. A gingerbread one is like so fucking trash. compared to pumpkin.
And honestly, a gingerbread cookie or even a gingerbread house, the house material,
Trash.
subpar.
Also, building
ever
gingerbread
have
houses. We tried to build them last year.
Oh yeah,
Way more of a hassle than anything I've ever done.
Yeah, it's not as fun.
Ah.
It's not as fun as you always think it's gonna
Right.
be. But like, you ever bite into like a pumpkin muffin, or even a pumpkin cookie? I mean, anything better? I dare you.
What is ginger? If pumpkin is like pumpkin muffin is a pumpkin muffin, what is gingerbread? It's like ginger,
There you go. You're so pretty.
like ginger root.
Ginger root.
That's not a cookie.
I mean, neither.
Technically
I mean,
not a pumpkin, right?
Pumpkin either. But pumpkin isn't pumpkin. Pumpkin is just whatchamacallit. It's cinnamon and what's the other one? Nutmeg. That's what pumpkin spice is. Pumpkin doesn't taste good.
So
you ever
pumpkin-
bite you ever carve a jack-o'-lantern and then smell the inside of a pumpkin?
Yeah, it's pretty rancid.
Beat. You ever smell the inside of an apple? Smells like an apple.
Right.
Inside of a pumpkin? Foul.
Right. Well, for me, it's dude. Thanksgiving's around the corner, but Christmas is in the air. I'll say that.
Okay. It's definitely in the air. My nipples are hard and my fucking skin's dry. You're for sure.
What are you thankful for this year?
What am I thankful for this year? I'm thankful for a divisive mainstream media for ruining most of my friendships and also giving us one viral video. So
All right.
thanks to the mainstream media for sucking a bunch of dick.
You do have like a. I've noticed that when I'm doing the time codes,
Mm-hmm.
like your hatred for it is such true hatred.
Well, because every single problem
You really
our
hate it.
society faces culturally is caused by the media.
It is-
and
it's not true.
I'm pretty much unable to get over it. Because, like, I would love for there to be no problems.
Right.
And it's so solvable.
Right.
But it's not when the narrative is being fucking rammed up your ass
Right.
by the man.
Right.
know?
It's a pumpkin spice versus gingerbread situation. It's like can't
And
we
the
just have
mainstream
both
media
and
is
be okay
gingerbread?
about it?
Okay. I'm having trouble grasping the metaphor, but I just like that you made one.
Yeah, yeah. That's what I was going for.
Okay.
That's pretty much it.
Good. What are you thankful for?
I'm this is kind of a Dylan park the car moment, but I'm going to share it anyway. I'm thankful
Interesting
for
route to take for the Thanksgiving
I'm thankful
speech.
for time.
That is such a part.
Yeah.
But that's funny. I like
and I'll
that.
tell you why.
Okay.
I'll tell you why. Today, it's just like we're going so crazy nowadays where it's like
Nah.
my life is.
I got a
it's just
picture of
like,
Bill Gates on my computer. What do you mean we're crazy?
I'm just feeling so crazy and like I just am so ready to take the long nap sometimes.
yeah.
But today I got back into home care, and home care the population is so much older. And I eval'd two 90-plus-year-olds. And the second 90-year-old was this 3-year-old man. And we're talking or whatever, and like I'm like, so man, like I'm like really loud and just like trying to keep the energy high. And I think it's like his apartment, nothing has changed since the dawn of time. And we're talking or whatever, and like he just like from the fucking clouds, dude. From the clouds, like we very much. Ooh, how you doing?
That's better. Sorry about that. Yeah.
That's all right.
That's nicer.
From the clouds, he was just like, you know, my wife died 3 years ago
Ooh.
from cancer.
Ooh.
And it just hasn't. I just am just kind of waiting around, honestly.
Wow.
Yeah. So he dropped that on me, and I was just like, and I my question was like, remember how I'm always like, so how's the shoulder? And then this guy was just like, my wife's dead.
Yeah.
Like it's that type of shit.
Yeah.
Like I don't even think I asked a question, and he just like blurted that out. But it was like I could tell this guy, like he has like an aide, but that's from like a health agency service. So like this guy's like alone. And
Right.
I feel like I was like literally the first person that this guy could talk to. And then
Hey,
he started.
remember when Dylan said this is a park the car moment? Are you going to get to the happy stuff? Because I'm sad.
Well, we talked about his wife and how like loving their relationship was, and it like came through. I was just like, oh, like where's your wife from? And he was like, oh, she's from Milan.
Where was she from?
Where was she from? Right. I was like, where was she from? She's dead now, so where was she from? That's what I said, Joe. You fucking dick.
There you go. Grammar is important.
Yeah. And he was like, oh, Milan. And I was like, okay, my
What
God,
up?
you're a little Italian lady, and he was like,
Spicy Italian?
She like came in and he like told me the whole story, and it was like very like I felt like I was in like a Hallmark movie, like and I was like letting him teach me stuff that I already know, just so he feels important, kind of thing.
Nice.
So it was just like I'm thankful for time that I'm not gonna take the long nap. We got a lot of life to live.
I appreciate that.
We got a lot of life to live. This guy's 93. I was trying to pump him up with some happiness and some. I was like, "We're gonna work together,
some
man."
youthful exuberance.
Exactly. Like I was really injecting that into his life. I was cracking him up. He's obsessed with squirrels. Him and his wife used to go
Old
to the
people
park
always
and
get
feed
obsessed with
squirrels.
weird animals.
And then right when he said this, I noticed that there was hundreds of like Beanie Babies, statues, pillows, squirrels, literally all fucking over this apartment. And I was like, now we're a little weird again.
That gets a little
Yeah.
weird. But, like, hey, he's alone.
You know, right? He's
Let
alone.
him have squirrel
He is
paraphernalia.
Exactly.
I love that
I'm thankful
energy.
for
though.
time.
You're thankful for time. I like that.
That's a good wholesome holiday energy.
I actually experienced some of that wholesome holiday
Oh, yeah? What
energy on
happened?
Sunday. We had a Friendsgiving in Long Beach with a bunch of my buddies, and Hogan's girlfriend Julia, she's a nurse, and she's seen some shit in the
Right.
last year and a half, and there were like 30 people. I think it was like 27, like literally 30 people in September in their little house at a long table that we made, like eating together. And we passed around a microphone, and everybody said what they were thankful for.
That's electric.
And it was hilarious. It was fucking so funny, and everybody was having a good time. So it was a little sentimental, a little funny. It was a good balance. I'm sitting next to Hogan, and we had all just smoked so much pot. Like we were about to eat. Like we got tuned up for the food, and me and Hogan are just like kind of having a little bit of a laugh attack. And then Julia gets handed the mic, and she stands up, and he goes, "Watch this shit." And I look, and she's like holding the microphone, but like not speaking. And he goes, "Here it comes." And I'm like, I don't understand what's going on. And everybody's laughing. So I'm thinking this is a joke, and I am howling laughing that she's like crying, kind of like choked up, and I am like loud, like howling. And I look at Hogan, I'm like, she's kidding, right? He goes, "No, dude." I was like, oh shit. Then I remembered that she was a nurse, and she was just like very thankful that we were all healthy, and it was beautiful. But I was not in the mindset
Missed
to
it a little bit.
experience the
Right.
like warmth.
Right.
You know what I mean? I was just cracking up and thought it was hilarious.
You got to take in that warmth in the holiday season.
Yeah, dude. It was nice though. There was a couple of sentimental little speeches there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a really nice weekend.
That's
I had
nice.
2 Friendsgivings. It was a lot of good vibes.
To absolutely turn the table on this now, what are we feeling for politics at the table this year?
I'm going all in, baby. I never speak up about politics. I'm in.
Dude, my dad called me today and shot his warning shot, and he was just like, "Hey, what's going on, man? How you doing?" And I'm like, he's like, "How's the first day?" And I'm like, going on and on. I'm like, "My first day was like this, man." And I was like, "The wedding bands, like we're looking at," and I'm just like letting it all out. And he's like, "Oh, that's good. All right, one last thing that I just have to cover here. One last thing I gotta cover here. Listen, I've already talked to your sister. You're okay. We just want everyone to get along, and we don't want anything to come up. And that's it. That's all I want. And I was just like, "Listen, Dad, if things come up, I'm gonna speak my mind. And if I'm speaking my mind, people are gonna get mad." And he's like, Nope. That's not what I'm not trying to muffle you. I'm not trying to do that. No, I'm just trying to have a good time. Like, and I was like, "She's a snowflake, Dad. She's a snowflake."
Listen, sheeple. This is real life, all right? Oh my God, I hope you get political on Thanksgiving. That'd be
I've
electric.
never gotten political.
Me neither. I leave the room, or I just like say nod and
Nod
say
and
yes.
say yeah.
Yeah.
People are running their mouths. I want to run my mouth too.
I'm going.
I'm running my mouth.
I think when people walk in the door, I'm gonna say, "I just hope you're ready to get political today."
Yeah.
I'm just to set the tone. Put the wheels in motion.
I feel like
I'm
your
ready.
family is like ready to. Your family gets revved up.
Well, also we all agree
For the most
to an
part.
extent. Like
Right.
I'll disagree with a lot of the little nuances of how aggressive we get on certain topics, but the general morale is in agreement.
Right.
For the most part.
Right.
Last year, this kid didn't agree with anybody.
Right.
Which is pretty nice that we're kind of on the evil.
It's
even
good.
keel.
It's good to
Yeah.
be back in the.
Yeah.
On the out. Now, your boy has taken your place,
welcome.
and I'm on the outside.
Have a good time. It
Yeah,
sucks.
it's not. I'm gonna probably. I might. I don't know. I might have a couple NA beers and start running my fucking mouth.
I don't like that you say NA like people just know what it means. You
I
say
don't really-
NA
Yeah.
like slang. Like you would say, "Yo, you want an NA?" With the other, because I had like 7 O'Douls the other day.
Right.
They were delicious. I don't know what NA. I still didn't know
Well,
what
listen,
NA meant.
I'm not gonna slow down for you. Pick up the pace.
But like, I'm just saying, when you're talking to like now I know. But like,
Right,
you're
if someone
talking to
would
like
be
a
like, "What's an
regular
NA
Joe,
beer?"
not this Joe.
I would be
regular
like,
Joe.
non-alcoholic. I have a problem. That's what I would say.
Oh, you need a parallel park. That fucking car. Jeez. Wait. To get off this topic for a second, I have to tell you the story.
Oh, right.
Okay, so Frankie, you're gonna fucking poop. So Halloween, if we remember, whoever was listening, some kid stole like a jar of pot from the party we were at, and the kid like made a whole scene, and he was like 6'9". He stopped the music and he made this scene. And then he accused this girl's boyfriend, who was like a weird scumbag dude that had been to jail, and like accused him because he was the only person he didn't know. Turned out it was him that stole the pot.
It was. Can you confirm?
You said you
Because Hoagie
confirmed
texted
with
me,
Hoagie. You
and
said,
I was like, "Is that confirmed?" I was like, "Did someone see it?" And he said, "Yeah."
right, because Grizz, our friend Grizz, supposedly saw him like with the jar of wheat. Something.
Okay.
He saw. Somebody saw him in a place where he shouldn't have been, and then he went to his car, came back, and that's when it all went down.
Okay.
When he got back from his car. So these are the things. Listen, nobody knows for sure anything. This is what we know at the moment. So at this
But
Friendsgiving,
run it on the mainstream news and accuse him right now. Go.
I'm gonna accuse him on this is as mainstream as we get. So so I'm at this Friendsgiving the other day, and I'm on the couch, and there's like the dinner table. There's still a group, kind of like the dads kind of stay at the dinner table, whatever. There's a group still at the dinner table chit-chatting, and I hear kind of dribs and drabs about that night, like that story, and I'm like, and I hear, and so to backtrack a little bit, the girl whose boyfriend stole the pot showed up to the Friendsgiving pretty much uninvited. Like, she was not actually invited. Like, she knows everybody, but she wasn't like handed an invitation and said, she just showed up. So her appearance and presence was a shock to everybody. She also showed up like first, which is always fun. When the person, you know what I mean? She was just there. When I got there,
showed up first
when
and
I got there,
unannounced.
she was
If
there.
anything, if you're the French person, you gotta slip in late.
You got to slip in amongst the masses.
Yeah.
She just maybe
You even
not,
skip
though.
the meal. You show up at dessert.
She left right after the meal, which is almost worse.
So she was just coming to eat?
It's interesting stuff that happened. So she was not invited.
I'm fucking hungry. Fuck those people. I'm eating their food. I'm getting the fuck out.
Yeah. So she showed up. She was welcome there, but she wasn't actually invited. So she leaves, and I didn't notice anything. There was one thing that I'll bring up, but I didn't notice any commotion or anything. I hear them talking about this. I'm like, yo, what's going on, guys? And they were like, yeah. So we're talking to her, and she went up to Lovegrove. She went up to our friend John, and she was like, bitching him out. Like for I guess not inviting her to the party. And while that's happening, I think John just point blank just goes, your boyfriend stole a fucking ounce of weed from our house. Like right to her face. And she gets obviously upset, and she's just like, how do you know it wasn't that other white bitch? Referring to Dylan's girlfriend, Emily.
Yeah,
and that's what I overheard. I heard them say, how do you know it wasn't the other white bitch? I was like, are you guys talking about Emily and the pot and the thing? And they were like, yeah, come here. I was like, all right. So now I joined this conversation, and Hogan is like, jokingly, he's just kind of like, dude, Emily does get pretty wild when she's drunk. Like, listen, back in college, if this happened in college, no part of me would have been shocked that Emily stole the weed. Like, she gets weird like that. I was like, poking the bear. I was like, honestly, bro, I kind of didn't talk to her most of the night. I didn't see her much. Like, she might have taken the pot. Like, we didn't really
I'm not
talk
even
about
kidding.
it.
When the kid was accusing people, I was like, did Emily steal this weed? She had a weird little klepto face.
Yeah, but she was smoking her pen, and she was, she was good.
She would never do that.
She would never steal it, especially from people she knows, kind of.
Yeah.
Like, if she didn't know
She
them,
would like
maybe.
smoke a pen if it was like sitting there. She would never fucking stick her hand in a jar of weed and start stealing nugs. That's ridiculous.
Right. So this girl is causing conspiracy towards Emily throughout the whole party. Words are getting out. Everybody's like talking about it and whatever. And I have no idea. I'm outside deep frying a fucking turkey. I was clueless. So I'm in this conversation now, and so given that information that this had happened,
Right.
this was after dinner. During dinner, like I said, after we ate, we handed a microphone around and everybody gave thanks. I had no idea that she had battled with one of our friends earlier and was like, she was pretty quiet, but like she's weird like that. Like she was quiet. So we're passing this thing around, and Pat, one of the kids that lives in the house, was trying to wrap it up. Like I went, and then the rest of my table went, and when it got to a certain point, Pat was like, actively, he was like, all right, I think we're done. We're done with the speeches, right? We're done. But the girl is holding the microphone. Like she was up. And like she looked like she had some shit to say. Like I had no idea some stuff had happened. So she looked like she had some shit. She like was looking at the microphone. She's like playing with it. And I was just like, to high ass Joe, I was just like, you got something to say? And she just goes, yeah, and stands up. We all stood up when we spoke. Stands up. Oh, maybe she didn't stand up. She started talking. And then I was like, you got to stand up. She stands up. And she goes, I'm going to kind of butcher this, but along these lines, she was just like, I'm thankful for, and then pauses for so long. And then was like, I'm thankful for friends, for real friends, you know, the ones that don't turn their back on you. The ones that stick through stuff with you, and the ones that don't alienate you. And I'm like, oh shit. I'm like,
You came to dinner unannounced.
Yeah.
Keep it to yourself, if anything.
So she came to dinner unannounced and then complained in her speech about not being invited. So she's going on, and then like that tone for like minutes. And she's just like, you know, for people who don't turn their back on you, don't stab you in the back, all these things. And then she looks down, she goes, and that's you guys, so thanks, and then puts it down. And everybody, like, by the way, like when I gave my speech, I got a standing O. Everybody got a standing, like, roaring applause. It was like this. Yay. And then Pat goes, okay, now we're done? All right, cool. And then everybody left the table. And then she just left. It was...
What, do they know her from high school?
Yeah, she was a high school, like, friend. Part of the high school friend group.
So they go way back.
Way back. It was... brutal.
Yeah, that's tough.
So I had no idea
you know,
what I was doing.
There's part of me that feels absolutely nothing towards this girl because I do think her shit boyfriend stole the weed. But now you're accusing my lady, and I feel like I gotta throw hands.
Wait, and
I feel like I gotta throw some fucking
speech,
hands.
She said, "I'm thankful for my boyfriend." One in the middle there, she goes, "I'm thankful for the friends, and I'm thankful for my boyfriend." Once she said that, I was like, "This is targeted. This is on purpose. This isn't like nice."
Of course, it was targeted.
Yeah, it was. Oh. It was funny shit.
Listen, I'm a nice guy and all, but fuck you.
Yeah,
That's it.
yeah. You can't be accusing Emily. She don't know Emily.
You don't know Emily at all.
But in her defense, we don't know her boyfriend, but we do know he was in jail or rehab or one of the whatever. He ain't great.
They're the
He
same.
squeezed hands. All the girls were talking about how hard he squeezed the hands at the party. The guy's a weird dude. I'm all set with insulting him on our show.
Right.
I'm fine with
I'm
that.
now, I was being super nice towards him. I wasn't even being accusatory.
Right.
I was being non-accusatory.
I'm just stirring it up.
Now I think she stole the weed. Everyone stole the weed. You and your boyfriend stole the weed.
I really need to know what.
You're about to go on a
for sure
klepto
who
streak.
Stole the weed. But we'll never find out.
We'll never find out. No.
Ever.
So me and Joe's 10-year high school reunion is this Friday. We're not going.
No, we're not.
We're not going. All of our friends bitched out. I was kind of ready to go.
I was down to go.
But our friends bitched out, so we're not going. But in the spirit of that, I was on Facebook recently and screenshotted this thing.
So nervous.
So the first girl that Joe ever went down on.
Oh my God, I know where this is going.
So that first girl was arrested. Speaking of high school, this was in high school.
Multiple times.
She was arrested multiple times. One of them was for what I believe was bullying a mentally challenged person online.
Bullying a physically deformed person. This girl had like facial deformities and she bullied her.
Bullied her and went to jail over it?
Yes.
Okay.
Because she like it was bad. It was bad.
Right.
It was on Snapchat news.
It was on Snapchat News,
It popped
yes.
up and I was like, damn, I fucking saw this girl naked.
Yeah.
Wild.
Yeah. So she
also went to rehab a couple times.
Right.
Not good.
Right. She actually made a status the other day that I screenshotted because I thought it was just so hilarious. Wow. Grown-ass adults bullying someone with a mental illness. That is so adorable. Your karma is coming. God hates ugly. And I'm like, bitch, weren't you in jail for bullying a physically deformed person like 2 years ago? What are you talking about bullying someone with a mental illness?
What?
Take a
Are
look.
they talking about her?
Boom.
Is she talking about herself with the mental illness?
You would assume.
Or her kid? Because she does have a baby.
Right.
Maybe
I think
two.
it was her. How could a baby have a mental illness?
Is this? Oh, I wish
Babies
I could.
don't have mental
Can you
illnesses.
go to
You
the
don't know
actual
that yet.
page? Can we look at the comments and
Sure.
see if anybody fucking ripped
Someone
it?
commented like, "Yo, boo, like, do you fuck them?"
Sounds like exactly what somebody would write. Dude.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Like talk about
bipolar
hypocrite, yeah.
disorder.
Jesus.
Talk about being formerly on heroin. You know.
Oh
That's
well.
brutal.
Right.
That'll do that to your
Does
head.
it- wait.
Oh man.
I gotta find it now.
Dude, we were talking about this at Friendsgiving. Heroin must be so good.
Oh yeah.
Like the things, my friend's a cop, and he says, dude, the things that I see people doing for just a tiny little bit of heroin make you just really want to try heroin. Like he's like, it seems like it must be so good if you're doing that shit.
Someone commented, "My beautiful bestie, I love you." I was right on par.
That was the only comment?
Yeah.
Wow. People are really
Well, because most
soft-spoken
people
on-
look at it and are
Right.
probably like, "Lady, you were arrested 2 years ago for bullying someone with a physical deformity in their face. What the fuck are you talking about?"
Went to served time.
Yeah.
Also, people our age don't comment on Facebook, period. Like,
Right.
you know what I mean? Like, that's like your aunt comments on that. It's like, oh, I know, love you. That's so sad. Like, shit like that. You get all your aunts on
There's
there.
a specific breed of people that are definitely commenting and making Facebook statuses. Yeah.
Oh, my God. Could you imagine making a Facebook status now?
I actually have been posting on Facebook recently.
Somebody in my office came up to me and said, oh, Dylan's doing silent discos again? I was like, I don't know.
I am.
I know you are, but I didn't see anything on your Instagram, so I was like, oh, it must be his must be posting on Facebook.
I made a Facebook event, and I also have been posting like long COVID shit on Facebook.
Oh, facts.
But that's business. That's not
business.
personal.
That's business.
That business.
That's different.
That ain't even personal.
That's different.
That
You're
ain't
not
me-
talking
that
about
ain't me-
politics. Once
Yeah,
you start
yeah.
talking about politics on Facebook, you get weird.
Yeah.
That's when it's like you're really skating through generations.
Right. Dude, hot take. I think Instagram is going to turn into a political hot mess.
Turn into?
It's going, but like,
What's it now?
that's a great question.
We follow Garbaggio. A political hot mess it's been.
But not a lot of people do that. Most people go on.
I think they do.
Yeah?
Because
I think people are closeted about how much political things they put on their Instagram. Like, no one posts. Some people post, like, statuses or whatever. But, like, Facebook is literally a cesspool of political opinions.
Yeah.
And Instagram is still, like, look at me on vacation with my tits and my boyfriend with the jacked arms and I'm drinking
Yeah.
and partying at a club. Like, it's still a lot of that.
Yeah, but to the extent that Instagram's capable of being political, it is. Facebook, you can put a status with like a link, a news link, a this link, a that link on it. Instagram, you could just put pictures and videos up. And on your story, you could put like links and like you could like tag certain videos. To that extent, it's just as political as Facebook, I would say.
No, Facebook's way more
Dude,
political.
The Daily Show is political. Like, and people post that shit. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, everything on Instagram is pretty political that we follow, except for like sports, which also get political.
Yeah.
Like, everything's political. Even the porn stars get political. The fucking OnlyFans this, OnlyFans that. They're taking away my rights. I don't know what's going on. Everything's political. It's crazy out here.
Yeah.
Trump loves porn stars. Biden, it's crazy out here. Sex work, I don't know. It's all crazy.
I hear
It's
you.
all political.
Should we have gone to the high school reunion or we're not going to go?
We definitely should go, but we don't have to go. You know what I mean?
10 years, bro.
10 years. I don't necessarily think I'm going to, like, I don't want to go, but I want to go. You know what I'm saying?
Right. It's one of those things where I know if I went, I would have a good time.
It's one of those things you're like, it's going to pass and you're going to be like, nah, I should have just went to that.
Right.
Like, because then the next one's what, 15 or 20 or some shit? And it's like, I got to wait that long to like see where everybody's at. We're probably doing way better than most people anyway.
I have no desire to play that. Like, what are you doing? Where are you at?
It's also tough when you have a
150
podcast. Because we're just have to talk about this the whole fucking time. It's going to be exhausting.
Yeah.
Oh my God, you still doing the podcast? Yeah.
Yeah.
You're the 56th person to ask me. I can't wait to talk about it again. I'm going to fucking quit it. I'm deleting my YouTube page as we speak.
Like your Facebook page.
Like my Facebook page, different.
Oh,
right.
dude, I forgot. Emily got accused of something else recently, too. She's getting accused. There's a barking dog on our street where you can, from our apartment, hear a barking dog the last 3 fucking days. Like, nonstop at nighttime. Bark, 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 like little sounding dog that won't fucking shut up. Yesterday, me and Emily were watching TV, and she heard someone scream at the top of their lungs, "Shut your fucking dog up. It's been barking for 3 days."
To Emily?
No, like, it's not Jasmine.
Right, I know.
They just screamed it in the backyard because I think it's coming from 86th Street.
Okay.
So Emily was coming into the building yesterday, and a couple that lived on the first floor was coming down the stairs where we live. We live on the top floor. They're on the first floor, so they don't even live up there. And Emily's with Jasmine. And then the girl, it was a couple, and the girl just goes, "Oh, we were just looking for you. We've never met them before, ever." And Emily was like, "What?" And she was like, "Is this the dog that's been barking?" And Emily was just like, "No, like we hear that too." And the girl was like, "Are you sure?" And I was like, "Emily, did you beat this girl's ass?"
I would spit slap a bitch.
I immediately was like, "Where do they live?" I'm like, they're on my shit list. Next time I see them, I'm gonna fucking shit on them. Accused,
Jasmine
bro.
doesn't even bark.
Jasmine, she barks with like someone like the ding dong.
Yeah, but her bark is like so.
No, yeah, it's not like that at all.
What a twat.
But people, and then she saw another person, and then the guy, she saw another person in the building, like introduced herself, and the guy was like, "Oh, like your dog is so cute. Like, is this the dog that's been barking?" And Emily was just like, "No, it's not. It's not the dog." And he was like, "Okay, no problem. Like, yeah."
Well, probably because it's a little dog. So
Well, you
like,
assume,
they're looking
yeah.
for a dog that looks like that. But
dude, people
Shut
come
up,
in
man.
at like that.
dude,
Don't come at me.
Manhattan. This is the last thing we'll say, and then we could probably get started. But Manhattan energy is super weird. When I was walking to your apartment the other day, because I parked 57 blocks away, I was crossing the street, and like when like the time is like ticking, and then the cars are coming, and you're like, oh, we got. So me and this older woman, she was probably like in her 50s, maybe early 60s. Are crossing. She's wearing a mask. I should have just known right there not to be nice to her. But I was being friendly, and I was holding 2 pies, and I'm shuffling along, and she was holding like a little bag. She's shuffling along. We're like barely making it. I was like, we got to make it. We got to make it. Like trying to get, she just looked at me like this and just kept walking. I was like, you bitch. It's like, what happened to like, I know. Just give me a,
I don't think
know,
that
right?
ever existed in New York.
It did, bro. Yes, it did.
Yeah?
Yes. Absolutely. It did.
People are pretty closed off.
No, dude. New York, you used to be able to say shit. You couldn't. I can't give you a little. Well, you can't give you.
She was
nothing?
like, "Keep your mouth closed. I could taste your COVID."
Oh my god, I wanted to trip her and leave her in the middle of the street. I hated her. Old bitch. Anywho, moving on.
Yeah.
So, I don't like how everything in my life is connected negatively. I'll say it.
What do you mean by that?
I mean by the next 4 things we're going to talk about, all are related, and I don't like it. And I think that this episode is probably going to be called "Everything in My Life is Connected for the Worse." I think it's going to be the name of the episode. Starting with, so a wild article about Bill Gates just got published on Mint Press, which is a news network that I did not know about until recently. So Frankie, my beautiful brother over here, who is our producer, has been telling me and Dylan about all the nefarious activities and the fake life that Bill Gates has been living his whole life, and his whole story is fucking bullshit, and all these things where me and Dylan were like, easy, big fella.
Yeah,
chill out over there,
For
Alex
2 years.
Jones. Yeah, for 2 years. We were just like, yo, bro, chill. Like, you're getting your news from Alex Jones, you're going to go crazy. Like, chill. But
Right.
everything he has said in that time where we had been like, nah, dude, chill, just basically got verified as true, which is insane. And starting with Bill Gates' story. So, Frankie, can you pull up the... oh, you got it up. All right, cool. Can you put that in the middle there? So, actually, whatever. This isn't on the actual news article, but... So, the Bill Gates story is essentially been painted as like, he started Microsoft. Him and his partners had like a falling out, but it was professional, and like he's a philanthropist. He wants to save the world. And that's like his general story. He's a nice nerd who happens to be the richest man in the world. That's like what everybody thinks with a broad stroke.
Right.
Would you agree?
Most people think he's a really nice guy.
Harmless rich nerd.
Right.
Harmless
rich nerd
harmless,
is very
right. Philanthropic harmless rich nerd.
Right.
With good intentions, one would even say.
Right.
The reality is, I didn't know he was born super rich. Did you know he was born super rich?
I did not know he was linked to Rockefeller.
Yeah.
Or not Rockefeller,
Yeah, Rockefeller.
yeah. His great grandpa was like Rockefeller's like
Dog.
guy.
Yeah. So, long story short, Bill Gates, the way that Bill Gates came to be Bill Gates, CEO of Microsoft, his mother was on the board of the United Way with the chairman of IBM, big guy. Somehow works out this sweet deal where Bill Gates, who is now, her son just starting some software company, has access to IBM's like operating software. essentially is what Microsoft is, right? So he basically steals this software, or
Really?
starts using the software to create Microsoft, the operating system to create Microsoft, and starts building a monopoly. Basically conspires to kick out his other partners, one of which had fucking cancer, which Frankie told me like 57 times about the cancer thing. It was always a very big point. Well, I had lunch with Frankie today, and I was telling him this shit, and I was just like, did you know about like the partners? And then he's like, yeah, the one with the cancer. I was like, fuck, yeah, that one. That was crazy. So conspires to get them out, right? His co-founders out of the thing, establishes a monopoly with Microsoft. Then the public starts to go after him because he was establishing a monopoly, which is, people don't like a monopoly. We don't like,
don't like
Amazon, monopoly, Microsoft, monopoly. That's where, that energy, the public don't like that shit. So as he started getting negative press, there's a video, I'm sure you've seen it, where he gets pied in the face in public, and like he was getting some lawsuits were coming his way, and the public wasn't loving him. He realizes, hey, I'm the richest man in the world. The media is totally for sale. I can start. Apparently, that was a big thing Rockefeller did, where he would buy positive media coverage. So this article that just came out shows how much money Bill Gates puts into media outlets, and the amount is absolutely mind-boggling.
Crazy.
The amount that's listed is $319 million over the past 12 months. $319 million
In a year.
In a year. Last year was $250.
This one specifically spoke to me.
Yeah.
Because
I know.
NPR, I feel like when the pandemic started and I had no news knowledge whatsoever, everyone was like, NPR is like just the classic news. You know what I mean?
NPR, I think is a left news network, no?
Well, one of the first kind of thoughts
Right.
was like, no, NPR is just like, they just like read the news. It's no political skew, straight down the middle.
Right.
Like, I don't know if, now I know where it is, but fucking the first time, that's what I'm hearing, okay?
Right.
And to see that NPR, which I feel like, if anything, they're sold, like if the fact that was what was sold to me, of just like, no, they're right down the middle, the fact that one had the largest lump sum of being bought, that's why it stuck out to me, because I don't really... Now I've seen NPR stuff where I'm just like, that's fucking bullshit. And now I see this and I'm just like, damn.
Right.
You know what I mean? I'm like,
by the way,
they have the biggest sum, 24 fucking mil.
By the way, everybody just real quick, this is just Bill Gates.
Right.
And the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation that's donating this money. This is just one bajillionaire buying media coverage. He's not the only one.
Well,
for sure.
Bezos owns the Washington Post.
Right. My point exactly. So, real quick, just read a couple of the big names on this list that'll make you poop. NPR,
We're pooping a lot today.
$24.6 million this year. The Guardian, $12.9 million. Let's see. What's another big one? NBC, $4.3 million.
CNN, 3.6.
CNN, $3.6 million. KCET is like a LA fucking thing, $3.5 million. Keep going down.
CNN.
There's one El País, which I'm pretty sure is in Spain.
3 million CNN.
3.6, yeah. What else we got? The Daily Telegraph, which is UK, $3.4 million. Texas Tribune, $2.3 million. The Atlantic, $1.4 million.
PBS.
Business Day
Half
in
a million.
Nigeria, 416,000.
We get it. He gives a lot of fucking money to things.
A lot of money to a lot of media. And look, this fucking microphone's going crazy. And the crazy thing is also, it's not just America. It's not just UK and Africa. It's like global. So the global perception
Wait,
of Bill Gates.
3, 2, 1.
Globalism. 3, 2, 1. Eugenics.
Fuck.
So PBS, 500,000. So the global picture of Bill Gates is just paid for by Bill Gates.
Right.
So the video gets into I don't know if I want to jump this quick here. But hold on, let me see if I want to jump that quick. Well, just real quick. That's like just direct grants from the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. There's other grants, like he gave like $6 million through a sub grant to Viacom, which is one of those top 4 huge media conglomerates. Like there's the actual
Moral of the
amount.
story is Bill Gates in the last 12 months, which has been one of the most polarizing times, I think, in the history of ever, has spent upwards of $350 million on things that he
Well,
likes.
way more than that.
Things, sure.
Yeah, way more than that.
Things that he likes, things that he wants. He's controlling the perception of what is occurring, and he's involved in a lot of things at the global level.
Right.
So how those things and how the things that he does and how he wants himself to be imagined is like his own. He's paying for it himself.
Dude, the proof of the pudding is he's the public health expert for America.
Right.
With zero public health background whatsoever.
Never worked in a hospital.
Didn't finish college,
Right.
but he's the public health expert in the
He might
richest
be
country in the world.
He might be one of Fauci's top vaccinologists, but that's
He
it.
might be.
Yeah, you know.
Well, funny thing about him and Fauci, I don't know if you guys saw this. So Bill Gates worked with Fauci on the AIDS vaccine way back during the AIDS epidemic. They worked together on the vaccine. And Nelson Mandela in, I believe, I want to say Africa,
South
but I don't
Africa.
want to sound stupid,
South
right?
Africa.
He was trying to push the cheap antiviral medications, sort of like what we're dealing with the whole ivermectin versus the Pfizer shit, right? He was trying to push the distribution of cheap antivirals around Africa to prevent the spread of AIDS and all this shit. Bill Gates and Anthony Fauci fought that to push vaccinations as like a magic bullet, patentable, profitable way to solve shit, which still there's no vaccine for AIDS.
Right.
So, like, that's like millions of lives right there that are just like, it doesn't matter. We want to make money. Fauci seems great, though. It's awesome. So I just thought that was funny. I thought it was funny that Fauci's name came up in this article. I was like, oh, here he is again, little Tony. How you doing? But, wait, there was something I really wanted to get to. Oh, okay. This is the craziest thing that I read in this fucking article. And I wrote it down because I didn't want to fuck it up. Quote, Bill Gates not only did he pay like fund a ton of news networks so that he couldn't get negative coverage. He even intervened to change the storylines in popular shows like ER and Law and Order SVU. Intervened to have those plot lines changed. And a good example to like support, like, for example, I'm going to give you an example of like the type of shit that was probably occurring. So, do you guys watch the show You? Anybody?
No.
Frankie, you watch You?
Not recently. But
Okay. So the new season of You, season 3 of You, I recommend you watch it at least up to this point because you'll shit. There's like this, it's like a horror show basically with like a serial killer, and then all of a sudden, like the 4th episode of this season, and I literally could have called, and I can't believe I didn't fucking write it down somewhere or say it out loud.
spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert, but fucking, if you haven't watched it by now, you're super behind the pop culture. But anyway, like the 4th episode or so, the couple, like the main character's baby, he's the serial killer, right? His baby gets smallpox, and they start ripping anti-vaxxers for like 2 or 3 episodes. One of the parents was an anti-vaxxer, and like and they start ripping anti-vaxxer, fucking psychopath, and they make him look like this greasy, hippie, gross dude, and it's like, what, like you're bringing and they talk about COVID the whole time. They talk about like the COVID vaccine, and they bring it up and they wield it into like getting everybody against this fucking anti-vaxxer parent.
What the fuck?
I was literally watching it and I was like eating popcorn. I was like, this is fucking wild. I can't believe this is such propaganda. It's propaganda. It's fucking crazy. This is wild. Bill Gates fucking paid for You, season 3. Holy shit.
Wait, did he or you just thought?
No, I don't know. That's what came when I read
Right, when you
this.
saw that, you thought of that.
Right, because when I was watching the show,
Because who the fuck watches ER?
when I was watching the show, I was like, these fucking companies, like that's what they do. Like these big media companies, they pay for shit to go into shows that supports little tiny things. But this was so in your face. I was like, come on, dude.
If you're in that writer's room, bro, and then it's just like, all right, in this scene, I really was thinking we could have like a fun, and someone's just like, everyone shut the fuck up, okay? We got 500 thou from Billy Gates. We got to figure out a way to put this anti-vaxxer shit in there. And then like 10 writers are all like, all right. Oh, right. I forgot about that. All right. Okay. Right about, and they do that?
Think
That's
about
happened?
the helicopter shot.
Yeah.
We'll get it in the budget.
No, but for real, that's the shit that goes on. He gave almost $14 million. Ready? Toward creating content to the Lancet medical journal. $14 million. One of the most prestigious medical journals in the world. $14 million this year. Do you think about how crazy that is? He's in charge of public health for our country.
Is he in charge?
He's
he's appointed?
Is that his title? What's his
He's
title?
one of the chairmen or whatever the fuck of the
Bill
of
Gates.
the World Health.
He's
part of the
in the
eight-
world in the WHO.
WHO and the whatever fucking whatever battle she's in, the NIH or whatever.
Oh,
Isn't he like a?
I thought he was the director of public health for the country. I could have swore.
no way.
I'm telling you.
think
Gates
he's-
Foundation.
I think he's involved with the World Health Organization.
Sure, whatever. He has no experience. is my
Whatever.
point.
What's the guy's name on the Jimmy Dore show that was like blowing up his spot? Do you remember his name?
He's from the.
I wish I knew his name. But he was just like throwing things out there. He's like, well, the World Health Organization is pretty much owned by Bill Gates, and he was just like slipping things in. I'm like, oh fuck, like.
Well, he funds a lot of this stuff. Actually, I do have a clip from that, and we'll have his name on there if you want to do
nice.
it. If you want to run it,
Max.
it's from the gray. The gray zone. Yeah. Did you go to the time code? Let's just watch this and pick up our comments. How's that?
It's muted.
It's okay. Frankie hates.
I don't know if you remember this.
Feedback.
I released it. Pandemic, how to prevent an outbreak. It was just like ready
Wait, pause.
for the pandemic.
Sorry.
I mean, basically like when the world
Wait, I totally forgot that's what this clip was. It's fucking hilarious that I got a precursor to this fucking
Right.
clip. I forgot.
I told
that's
you
what the
guys it
clip
was fucking propaganda, you bitches.
Well, first of all, who would have?
Who would have thought, bro? On day 2 of the pandemic, I get a video from you. Literally, it was like the 6th day, and it was like, bro, you got to watch this thing. It was
a Plandemic? Yeah.
It was Plandemic, and I was just, and we had a full blown conversation. We were like, if
your
this is
sister
true,
almost fucking
what
murdered
else
us.
is true?
Right.
And I remember I recorded that conversation, and we were saying how it was like,
gotta find that.
I think I have it. And we were saying that we were like, yo, like that pandemic thing on Netflix. It was like they propped that in there. They threw that in there just so, like, I mean, Netflix is absolutely compromised.
Oh yeah.
Netflix is compromised.
Well, now that we're on, I didn't realize that was. I forgot that that's what the video was. But now that we're on this, so the Bill Gates, this article essentially gets down to, and this guy says, that the fucking pandemic essentially was like the perfect storm for everything Bill Gates was like putting in motion. He was like working on he was testing all this medicine in Africa. He was waiting for like a pandemic. It happened, and this fucking propaganda ass documentary comes out. The pandemic, it was, what was it called? Pandemic, How to Stop an Outbreak or some shit. How to Prevent an Outbreak, which we had one of the producers of the show on this show.
before.
Before
It was probably like
COVID even
end of
hit the
February,
shores.
early March. And he was just like,
It was before that, dude. I think it was end of January, because February is when it started to get. Oh no, maybe it
March.
was like
it was
that.
probably
Whatever.
February. And he literally was like, yeah, I mean, it's here already. And like the sad truth is that like people you know are going to die. Like sporting events are going to be canceled. You're not going to be able to go to sporting events. You're not going to be able to gather in large settings. And like I had never even, and I was like, let's slow the roll there, big guy, before we get anything crazy.
And by the way, the thing he produced, that documentary, didn't even talk about COVID, because COVID wasn't even a thing technically yet.
Right.
So
They
it
were
was
just-
talking
they were
about like the
prepping
flu
us.
vaccines and like a universal vaccine. So they were literally just, they were lubing you up to shove the dildo made of fucking like accept all vaccines or like your crazy thing and to like make it more palatable for you. They did that, and they released during the pandemic Inside of Bill's Brain, which is directly like creating a narrative on who Bill Gates was. Like I literally watched it, and I remember I came to this show, and I was like, I love Bill Gates. He's like the smartest, most interesting
And
man.
I actually remember just being like, I don't understand why. Like you were like, you were like,
Did you
"Dude,
watch the thing?"
I watched this Bill Gates thing, and it's like I'm so motivated. And, like he's such a good guy.
Yeah.
And it's like you're just.
Have you ever
Talking
watched?
points.
Did you
No, I
watch
never
it?
watched it.
If you watched it, you think the same thing. You'd be like, I love this fucking guy. He's the best. We need more Bill Gateses in this world. He's amazing. So it was bullshit, is my
Yeah.
point. He fucking made it himself. So anyway, now that we have a little backstory on this situation, play this video.
Health Organization, which Bill Gates controls, declared a pandemic. I think it was like March 18th or March 20th, 2020. The blue balls of Bill Gates' global empire just exploded onto the planet, and he was finally able to release this titanic agenda. And this Netflix series was part of the propaganda campaign that had been prepared ahead of time for any massive public health crisis to present Bill Gates, someone who dropped out of Harvard and has no medical training, no medical degree, no medical experience, no degree in public health, as the world's leading public health expert. And who produced this documentary? It was someone named Sherry Fink, who was a New York Times correspondent. She was like at the time their lead correspondent on the pandemic and on COVID. And her career trajectory had taken her through 3 Bill Gates funded organizations, ProPublica, the New America Foundation, and the International Medical Corps. So Gates funding all of this media has a ricochet effect where everyone who comes out of these organizations moves into other ones like the New York Times, and making his control over media almost complete. I mean, I wouldn't say Bill Gates controls the entire media, but his influence is almost totalistic. And so you have someone like Sherry Fink, who's ostensibly a journalist, playing PR person for someone who has no actual expertise in public health and just simply has a lot of money. And then you would just see Gates rolled out on interview after interview throughout March and April 2020 as the leading public health expert until Americans who are stuck at home under lockdown, this completely unscientific lockdown based on a phony model published by Neil Ferguson, a complete fraud modeler with no degree in epidemiology at the Imperial College in London, which is funded by Bill Gates, that provided the justification for the lockdown. Everyone's stuck at home. And so they're
Not yet. Keep going.
treated to a concert with all sorts of pop stars, Yo-Yo Ma, Dave Letterman hosting, and it's called Vax Live, the concert to reunite the world, by Global Citizen, another group run basically by Bill Gates. And it's to create momentum, psychological momentum for the COVID vaccine.
All right, now you can-
as
So, insane.
Yeah.
Insane.
That's just a lot, bro.
Dude, I know
That's
it's
just a lot, because then my whole life is like a lie, bro.
Well, your whole life is a lie, one. And you know what I'm thinking about? You know what I'm thinking about? I'm thinking about this.
Fuck.
Like, Bill Gates with the whole
Fuck.
Monopoly thing, like trying to get...
I guess that's what monopolies are.
That is what monopolies are. And with the pandemic, like what they were kind of saying is why the pandemic was so beneficial to Bill Gates. Like his net worth went up $20 billion during the pandemic.
$20 billion.
$20 billion.
You know how much money I made? Like
You'll
negative
never-
50,000.
You'll never make $1 billion.
He made
Nobody will.
20 fucking billion.
$20 billion. And you know why? Everybody had to stay home from school. Therefore, Microsoft products had to be used in order to educate. So, like, supposedly, according to this article, his goal is to end in-person learning to increase dependency on his own products. So what I'm thinking about is I'm like, yo, remember in like school and they would like give you a little laptop and you'd like learn how to do your laptop in like elementary school, middle school. I'm picturing like you're on your little laptop and you know how I don't know if you've ever taken a marketing class, but they teach you about like subliminal marketing. So like you'll be watching a commercial or like a magazine. It'll just be like a picture that'll flash and you barely even notice it's there. But then all of a sudden you want a Coca-Cola because like it was a Coke symbol or something. I'm picturing like little kids on the little laptops like Googling penis for the first time and all this fucking funny shit. And all of a sudden like fucking like a Chinese flag fucking like flashes or like a swastika flashes or some shit. I'm like, oh no, these kids are fucked.
Dude, where I'm at with that is it just honestly makes me fucking furious because first point is there is a very large amount of people that like have such high praise for Bill Gates. You are one of them because you fall for the propaganda.
Right.
This is just point blank. Fuck all the other shit. Fuck the microchip thing. Fuck the he's killing people in Haiti. Fuck that all this thing with the media. If you made $20 billion this year when everyone else is like fucking suffering. You're doing some shady shit.
Yeah.
And if you're praising a man that made $20 billion and you made negative $50K and were on welfare, you're a fucking asshole and you need to figure your shit out.
Yeah.
Like for real.
And guess what? Those are the people who are watching Bill Gates go on CNN and they're just like, we got to listen to this guy.
Right.
He's so smart. He's helping. Like,
Yeah.
you got to listen to this guy. He's telling me that the vaccine's the only way. And like, I got to listen to him. Everybody listen to him or else you're a fucking racist.
Right.
Do it. It's like,
brings me to my next point, which is the media is like very, as you immediately mentioned for what you're thankful for, is that is the divisional aspect of it. It's like very
That's how they
much.
win.
I don't even like doing this because I feel so crazy, but it's fucking real that like it's a divide and conquer strategy. It's like the working class, fucking us, are just divided against each other, and like we don't ever. Like, we're just so consumed with, like, fighting each other that we don't realize that Bill Gates made $20 billion last year.
Right.
So Bill Gates deserves to get questioned like Donald Trump did. I think if you make $1 billion, every person that you go on the news, no one should be getting fucking softball questions. Like, everyone should be getting questions up your ass about, like, what's going on. Like, no one deserves softballs, but he's paid, literally, to get soft toss questions.
yeah.
He's
Paid.
writing the checks.
And the one
Writing
time
their fucking checks,
and the
dude.
one
He's
time-
writing their checks.
No, literally. There was one example that they gave in that article where he literally paid all of the salaries for a organization that was like creating. It was training journalists. He paid everybody's salary.
Right, dude. There's a I screenshotted this from.
He's even in
The article.
education. He gives like
Today-
$1.2 million to Harvard. Like all
Today,
that
it is
shit.
possible for an individual to train as a reporter.
I wrote that down, too.
Thanks to a Gates Foundation grant, find work at a Gates-funded outlet, and to belong to a press association funded by Gates.
And in that, if you're one of those people, you don't know that you're being like you're just part of the machine. Like,
Well, dude, there's probably
you know what I
a
mean?
very real amount of like social justice and like we need to stand up for all of the things that are wrong, and I'm getting paid and I'm just going to start saying things like we got to stop saying guys because that's fucking misogynistic, and we need to start coming up with new words for
each other.
vagina, like urinating hole. Like, you know what I mean? Like, they come up with this crazy ass shit and they believe it. And then there's probably also someone who's been there and it's just like, yo, I got a mortgage. I'm not going to be a billionaire. I was a job guy. I'm now realizing that, like, everything I fucking do is a lie, but, like, I got to collect a paycheck. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
I know what you mean.
that's what, like, we're fucking pawns to this globalistic game, bro.
Dude, if you think about how much money that is, you can literally do anything. You could make anybody do anything. You could do anything. If you're able to give $400 million minimum to news for positive coverage, what can't you do?
20?
The one time Bill Gates ever got somewhat of a difficult question, because he's not painted as a nefarious character at all in media, at all.
Right. He's
Except-
got like one or two difficult questions, and I can
About
remember
Epstein.
them. Right.
And that's the only ones. And that's because that's so obvious when that came out. Like, you have to ask him about Epstein. Like, how could you not bring
Right.
it up if it's out there already? And even then, it was a softball question, and he botched it. He botched it.
Yeah.
We watched that communications professor analyze it. He got shredded. He
Yeah,
couldn't even
the
lie
communications
about that.
professor was like, "This is bad." Like, he's covering this up here, and then he's like, "Oh, see this right here?" He like stops it. He's like, "See, he just keeps repeating this one line, and he's not even really answering a question. Like, you could tell that's like a created line from a lawyer to make sure that he's not incriminating himself."
Has anyone checked on that reporter? Is she still
Which
alive?
Which reporter?
The one who asked the Epstein.
It was a guy, I think.
No,
Oh, no, it was a woman?
Yeah.
She might be not alive. She probably doesn't have a job no more. Nah,
It's
she
coming to a point now where we can all continue to go on with our lives, live most likely middle class, maybe go higher, maybe go lower, but like stay there. And you just continue to fight amongst each other. Or there needs to be a collective working class
revolt
against the elites because,
Well,
like,
guess what?
dude, Bill, you know what I'm saying?
Guess what?
20 billion, that should make you angry, honestly.
Dude, this should all make you very angry.
If Bill Gates
and
made 20 bill in 2020, that should make you actually angry.
furious.
Yeah.
And by the way, this year he only gave $400 million to get this positive coverage.
Right.
And he made another $20 billion.
And also, I remember hearing some shit about Bill Gates propaganda that, like, he was stepping down as Microsoft's chair and he was just going to, like, devote his life to
the philanthropy. Yeah,
Right.
because he makes more money doing the philanthropy than anything else. Because
Right.
now he doesn't need the fucking
He's a philanthropist,
Microsoft.
yeah.
Right. By the way, the whole revolt you're talking about, I just saw a little headline that I'm feeling like it might be coming, and I'll tell you why. Apparently, Biden is passing like an order that you can't travel across state lines without being vaccinated. There's like a mandate for interstate travel. I haven't verified that. I saw a headline on one of the news things I follow.
Can we get a fact titty on that?
I'm gonna pull up I screenshotted the news thing. I'll tell you what the source was. Insider Paper, Twitter. The Insider Paper, it's verified. I don't know what that means, but it says, just in, Biden now requires essential non-resident travelers crossing U.S. land borders, such as truck drivers, to be fully vaccinated beginning on January 22nd. That's from the Associated Press, which means that truck drivers, like when you think of a truck driver, you think of he's chewing a cigar that ain't lit, he's driving a fucking car with no AC.
He's
or
on
no
a ton
heat.
of Adderall, maybe
Right.
some meth.
He's got a cigarette.
He hasn't slept in 3 days.
Right. He's probably veering off the side of the road, but he gets it back on
'Cause of
track
the
when he
rumble
does
strips.
a little
Yeah.
ski pop. And that's that guy. And you're going to force him to get vaccinated? The man's going to quit. You're talking about a supply
He
chain
also
issue now.
sits in a truck all day alone.
Right.
How many people does the truck driver interact with?
Like, he's
Doesn't
the one,
he drive a truck by himself?
Right. He's the one that's spreading this virus. Like, are you shitting me? So if that is real and that happens, there's no way there's not a fucking revolt. There's no way.
Well,
There-
I mean, we fired a bunch of nurses who were the healthcare heroes, and there was a minimal revolt.
Speaking of which, they closed. So Long Beach, where I live, doesn't have a hospital. They only have South Nassau. It's like an emergency center. Closed down for minimum a month because they're understaffed. Closed down. Nobody there. Closed. Doors locked. Boarded up. Can't go in. Closed. Understaffed. That seems safe. There's no
fucked up.
hospital in Long
That's
Beach.
fucked up.
It's crazy. It's insanity.
I think that's a product of medical workers are beyond burnt the absolute fuck out. And then you also slap them with this vax mandate thing, which, like,
They're like, fuck you.
dude, even if you're vaccinated, like, there are people, I'm vaccinated, there are people that I work with that are unvaccinated, and I'm praying that we don't have some sort of mandate because I know that we'll lose people on our staff and we'll be fucked.
Oh, yeah.
And
They'll be
it's
gone.
fucking fine.
It's fine.
It's fine. We all wear masks. We get tested if some shit happens. Everyone's, it's fucking fine.
It's fine, dude. I was just talking to a couple of nurses that I'm friends with in Long Beach. And again, this is direct from them. It's not from me. They're telling me that they rarely see anybody very ill come into the hospital from COVID. Rarely. The only times they see somebody in the hospital with COVID nowadays is when somebody who has like cancer or like a very serious illness tests positive, and then they just put them in the emergency room and like lock them away just to be very on top of them to make sure they are okay. They said they haven't seen somebody die of COVID in like a very long time in New York, in Manhasset, that hospital.
So the question is like, all right, I've been saying forever that I'm like, they'll reverse the vax mandate.
No, it's just getting
You know what I
worse.
mean? And it's like, and I'm like, how much? And they're just going further and further and further and further. And it's like, at what point? Like I'm saying, like I'm getting angry. I'm like, the fucking hospital's closing down. I'm like, as a medical worker, I'm losing my goddamn mind. And I'm like, I got to work in this industry for the next 30 years. Doctors are quitting. Nurses are quitting. People are leaving the workforce. Hospitals are understaffed. I'm like, if that trend continues on and there's no sort of stoppage to start going the other way, at what point do we just like march to the fucking Capitol and
What date would you like to do that on?
I declare myself
January 6th. Talk about an anniversary.
run it back?
This is not us inciting an insurrection.
Yeah.
Dude, well, the answer to your question is we've been wondering who the deep state is. It's these guys. It's Bill Gates. It's fucking Jeff Bezos. It's everybody with enough money to direct the way the world works. You think Biden's going to stop mandating vaccines when the people who fund his campaign and like the entire government are like, nah, we actually need you to keep selling this thing because it makes us rich. Sorry,
Right.
that's the way it's going to go. He doesn't, dude, Biden literally got in a one-on-one battle with Bill Gates on releasing the recipe and the concoction for the vaccine and making it public so that other people. That was Biden versus Bill Gates, and Bill Gates just won, and Biden just rolled over and was like, no, you have to do it. And Bill Gates was like, nah, and he was like, you're right. That's basically how it happened.
It truly is nuts that we won't, as something that is being mandated to go inside our bodies, and then them saying we're not telling you what's in that.
Not only are we not telling you what's in it, we're
What?
mandating it. We're mandating it because we're trying to save the world, but we're not going to give the recipe out to the world for free to save the world. Does that make any sense?
My question is, when does Melinda, who divorced Bill, start turning the other way? You know what I mean?
I mean, she's been in this shit the whole time. I
Right.
doubt she's any less dirty than him. Frankie,
Well,
what are your thoughts on
I
Melinda?
think that she's dirty. What I'm
think she's
saying
a
is
whore, probably,
she divorced
right?
him, so maybe she's going to have a little
Those
good
contracts are still signed. And
Yeah.
Those NDAs?
And I'm sure the result is death.
I think, yeah, Billy Pallywax for the. I think Melinda only left because she thought the heat around Epstein was going to get too bad. She just was like, all right, well, I have my money, I'm good.
Right.
Like, I don't need this shit no more. But it is because I feel like we should probably move on a little bit.
Right.
But it's a perfect segue. Is like, you'll never see negative, for obviously all these reasons we just talked about. You'll never see negative news coverage about Bill Gates.
You will not.
Which everybody would be able to get behind if they knew all of this. Like, if everybody knew what we just said, which are facts.
Well, even believed it, because most times I say these things and they're like, chill out, psycho, this is Thanksgiving. And I'm
Right.
just like, you're sheeple! And they're
it's
like,
all
chill
facts.
out, dude.
That's the thing.
But they don't believe it.
Well, they don't believe it because the media feeds them what they want them to believe.
Also, this
So-
is some sinister shit we're talking about right
It's
now.
very sinister. So, like, a topic like this, which could unite everybody,
Right.
Because it's unanimously evil.
Yeah.
Right.
This man made $20 billion. You made $0. Something wrong.
Right. They won't give that any airtime. Same thing with Ghislaine. A fucking call. Ghislaine Maxwell going on trial, I think this week. No news coverage.
Zero.
Barely any.
Haven't heard a peep.
Not a fucking peep. They've been the only news that has been portrayed about Ghislaine Maxwell's trial that's coming up is that she's complaining about solitary confinement and that's actually the wrong. Don't pull that one up yet, Frankie. She's complaining about the solitary confinement being like not comfortable, and there's rats, and they're giving her like moldy food, and she's trying to get out on bail. And actually, you can't. I lied. You can't pull this up. I'm a dickhead. And she's getting like positive news coverage where Boris Johnson's sister actually said it's like it's hard not to pity Ghislaine because she knew her in Oxford and met her a couple times, and she was like flirting with her brother and like had apparently her leg was on Boris Johnson's lap at Oxford, so it's like hard not to pity her. It's like,
Shut up.
yo, are we forgetting the fact that she is accused of the worst crime imaginable? Like, she was accompliceing somebody who was abducting young girls and selling them to billionaires.
Right.
Like, bringing them to an island and having them get raped for years on end. Like, the things she's accused of
Are terrible.
right. And then you have this horrible case, not to tie everything in together all at once, but you have this horrible case, this horrible
Objective, terrible things.
objective terrible
On
thing.
top of that, her husband, when
Or
he was
boyfriend,
supposed to
right.
be going on trial, killed himself.
Right. Well, my dick.
Obviously.
Right.
What I'm
Absolutely.
saying is, like, you would think that such a high-profile situation of we tried to get the main guy, but he killed himself. We never got to actually talking. Now his wife's going on trial, who was an accomplice, and some say she was even more involved and even more sinister than him himself. She's going on, and no one says anything.
Nobody cares.
No one cares.
Nobody
No one
cares.
cares.
Yeah. Why would you care?
Why would you care?
She's just a rich woman. She's
Why
a
would you
rich
care?
white woman. She's not dangerous. What the fuck is going on? And then so you take again a cause. The whole country hates Ghislaine Maxwell.
Should hate Ghislaine Maxwell.
I mean,
If
anybody
most-
who knows anything about it is against
Majority
Ghislaine
of the
Maxwell.
country probably doesn't even know Ghislaine Maxwell.
That's
A
unfortunate. but
good
you're probably right.
50% doesn't know Ghislaine Maxwell. The other 50%, 25% of them know it, but they're not on the radar. And then the 15% are like, I'm kind of angry, and then there's us.
I would love to know how many people watched the Epstein documentary. Because anybody who watched that is like, this chick needs to go to jail for the rest of her life.
Dude, I remember I watched it, and as I said, I watched that documentary. It was a springboard into the conspiratorial world. Thank you, boys.
welcome.
Thank you. It's fun.
We dug our way out and we got ourselves in.
It's been fun.
Yeah.
But I remember a lot of people watched that, and then I was at a party one time, and I was just running my mouth, popping off, and people around me were like super uncomfortable talking about it because I'm like, dude, the government, and I'm like saying all this shit that like is making sense that people are in agreement with, but like a lot of people couldn't get themselves to like, but people were open. Like I remember one girl was just like, yeah, like I really think that like our government is just like some really and it like took her so much to say like such a like it was like not even a jab, it was like a flick of an insult to the government. But then it's like time goes by and it's like, hey, like okay, life's coming back. I can just go back out. Like I can go and party. I can go to brunch. Like I don't have to fucking think about these things anymore. Bye. I'm running away. I'm not thinking about these things anymore. And I'm just like, don't you remember? Don't you remember?
Like we were there together in the front lines.
You said it too.
Dude, that's the thing with these things. Like, it sucks because they are true things. And to, you know, especially like now that we've officially verified the last piece of the puzzle, which is Bill Gates, which he was the one thing where we were like, nah, he's still fine,
Yeah.
right? So now we got Bill Gates is officially an elite scum piece of shit.
Right.
So then you tie it all back to like the Epstein, the elites, the Bill Gates, the island, fucking the politicians, Prince Andrew, all these things that we were like drawing the yarn between like fucking crazy people. And yet the problem is they're true, which is why it drives you completely insane when you really focus on them.
Right.
Which is why you have to force yourself to let them go. Otherwise you can't sleep.
Right.
That's just the truth. Look at this fucking bitch. Oh my God. She's scared that negative coverage is going to influence her jury result. You see that? Okay. You're scared. You know what? Who else had a jury who was getting fucking all sorts of butchered and fucking Kyle Rittenhouse. And you know what's insane is you got this bitch who everybody can get behind and hate and root against, and we could, the whole country could unify.
Whole country.
We could
I always
unify
said the
for
whole
1
country
second.
would unify if an aliens came and landed and started fucking our shit up, but like the whole country could get behind fuck Bill Gates and fuck Ghislaine Maxwell.
The whole goddamn country.
If you
Especially-
can't, you're
especially
stupid.
Ghislaine.
Yeah.
If you can't, then you're nuts
Yeah.
and too far gone. But then you know what the media decides to do? They don't decide to report on this that everybody can get behind. They don't decide to report on Bill Gates, who's a fucking scumbag. What they decide to do is lie and inflate bullshit about Kyle Rittenhouse, a 17-year-old kid who was in a fucked up situation and like some shit went down. So they take this crazy one-off, very complicated situation that this kid found himself in that resulted in the death of 2 people and the injury of another, and they paint it as this white supremacist, this racist fucking thing. What's wrong with the world? White supremacy's running rampant in America. They fucking feed that shit to their audience on the left. Feed that shit. Get you all pissed off and like get, you know, people radicalized and hating white people, and the white people are hating black people, spreading everybody further.
Divide and
way,
conquer.
This way they get more and more control, because the more you're further, the more you're looking for somebody to keep feeding you that shit. So you get more and more dependence on the fucking mainstream bullshit news. And then you almost wrongfully put a fucking 17-year-old kid in prison for life. Meanwhile, this cunt muscle, Ghislaine Maxwell, will probably somehow not go to jail for life, which is insane. She wants to get out on bail right now, like she's not going to disappear across the border. Are you nuts? Her family's lawyers are speaking to somebody about getting her, to the UN, about getting her out on bail. Bail?
Zero bail.
Bitch, we had to hunt you down in New Hampshire. We're
Zero
not giving
bail
you
for
bail?
Ghislaine. Also, why the fuck was she in New Hampshire? That's such a side story, but
I know. I don't know.
how'd you get got?
She got though, and you think we're just gonna
New
let you go?
Hampshire,
She
you
was
thought
running.
you weren't going to get got?
She's a whore. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's so obvious when you just look at like.
Right.
And you know, I was actually looking at a couple things with Frankie. There's like a bunch of clips of like newscasters and people in the media talking about, particularly people of color, about like how they're upset with the verdict, and like. I can't even put blame on people for like seeing this the way they saw it and feeling the way they feel. Like especially as a person of color, I understand the way that looks when it's portrayed that way in the media. But like, it's unfortunately, if facts were just portrayed the whole time, everybody's opinion would be much different. But that's not what was chosen to be done. What was chosen to be done was to inflate things, lie, exaggerate about the fact that he crossed state lines, and like pointing out all these things. Saying his mother dropped him off at this protest with a gun, which isn't even true.
It wasn't?
No, his mom didn't drop him off. He drove to Kenosha with his friends the day before didn't have a gun with him when he crossed state lines. His friend bought the gun for him in Kenosha. The gun was already there. So he didn't cross state lines with a weapon, which would be a concern, but what isn't because it didn't happen. His mom didn't even know. She knew he was there. She didn't know where he was going. She didn't know he was going to a protest. So none of that is even true.
Right.
And by the way, state lines are 1 mile from his home. So like if you actually were portraying facts about this case the entire time, everybody's view would be different.
Right.
So when I see people get upset and they're upset for civil rights and stuff, I understand it completely because of what they've been listening to. If I was only listening to that information, I would be upset too.
Of course.
You know what I mean? So I'm not even mad at that. What I'm mad at is the fact that it was like allowed to be portrayed that way.
This one's been
when it
interesting because
makes no
a
sense.
lot of people have backtracked on their original stances because, like, you watched the tape.
Like us.
I would kind of my take was kind of, I didn't hate my take at the time.
I didn't hate my take. I still stand by.
Hold
a
on,
lot of my
I want to bring up. Can you do it right now? It's because it's a funny little break. Can you bring up the clip that I? So me and Joe talked about the Kyle Rittenhouse thing 1 year ago, right after it happened.
Yeah.
And my assumption was that because Joe always tells me I'm such a liberal pussy and I'm so
You are.
left leaning
You are.
and I'm all these things and
You are.
he doesn't.
So I read-
he forgets where he himself was
I know.
as well.
Listen, but I don't even think this is a left. I still stand by most of what I said.
Right. I
in
will say
video.
this though,
and I'll
that-
explain myself.
Fine,
after this.
fine. I grabbed a very specific clip just to fuck with you.
I know you did. I knew it when you told me you were bringing the clip. I was like, you're definitely making one where I contradict myself.
I
6 times.
remember being so mad after this episode because like, you both did not have your fucking.
By the way,
facts straight.
this just a really quick. This was the episode we made a YouTube video called "Liberal Friend and Conservative Friend Argue, but then Fix It," and that was this episode when me and you got in that really weird, quiet, like silent, like weird argument. It was like a 30-minute clip. It was like the next clip when I was looking.
I
for this
wouldn't wanna
clip.
watch that
I
one.
watched like 7 minutes of it. I almost drove it to a pole.
Wait, hold on. So the funny bit about what I'm trying to say is that so Jimmy Dore did a clip where like every news outlet, like every media news outlet has been like flipping a shit over that he drove across state lines. It's like this big thing. It's like he drove across state lines and he did this and he drove across state lines with a gun.
I have that clip if you want to play it.
Right.
The like thing.
So me and Joe were talking yesterday, and I was like, "Dude, we got to bring up that thing." And Joe was like, "You're definitely such a liberal pussy in it." And then please play this.
Oh, fuck. I know. I was like, fuck you.
You're gonna drive your son with
To
an
a
assault
protest
rifle
with an assault rifle to defend
across-
businesses?
By the way, I'm pretty sure to drive across state lines with a rifle is super illegal.
Yeah.
I could be mistaken there.
I don't know.
I'm pretty sure that's illegal. So you're gonna drive your kid across state lines with a rifle so he can go defend something that he doesn't like? That's crazy. I don't know.
Wait.
But-
Pause. Wait. But that was misinformation. I was given the wrong information.
Right.
Continue.
That's what I'm saying. It's
Right.
interesting that you were succumbed to. You thought it was me, but here I am thinking
Well,
that
this is the information it had.
I thought that this video was gonna come out, and I was just gonna be like, "Oh my God, this kid's a white supremacist! Like, what the hell?"
No, you were actually solid.
Keep playing it.
Oh, this is gonna make you look good, me look stupid. This is a classic Dylan. What
I
else
think
is it?
it's unfortunate that now we're in this situation where we have this cop being vilified, which he obviously deserves to be. And now we have this kid being like butchered online, where as like a racist animal, which again, like the cop, maybe this kid is some racist white supremacist type dude. But again, most
fine.
likely he was just not
Very
mentally-
poorly informed.
Yeah, like not in it. It's not like he was prepared for any situation
fine.
like that. He never should have been in that situation. He's
Right.
17. As a 17-year-old,
Pause it.
like he might have just reacted impulsively and then
Okay. That's what I was gonna say.
That's what I'm saying. Our take wasn't that bad.
No, I stand by my take of like. I think the main thing I kept saying was he shouldn't have been there, but that has nothing to do with the case.
Right.
I don't think he should have been there because if he asked me, hey, you think I should go with my gun? I would have been like, sit this one out, guy. I just think stay home. I get it. The buildings, they're
Hey,
going
man,
down.
Let's watch some.
But like,
let's watch some Netflix. I
right.
got this Bill Gates doc that'll
You
knock
got
your
whole,
socks off.
You got your whole life ahead of you.
Yeah.
Let it go. But he didn't.
Right.
And what he did once he was there, that's where the case starts.
Right.
Him should not be supposed to be there has nothing to do with him being guilty or
Still say that.
yeah.
People are like mourning.
Now what you got? You gonna fucking got something else for me? You fuck.
No, that was
Oh,
it.
cool.
I just thought it was funny that I literally watched first the video of him saying he crossed state lines, and then I watched this video like going into it, just being like, "Dude, Dylan, you're gonna fucking look like an asshole right now." And then I was surprised. Like at the beginning, I was like, like I don't love how I'm sounding right now. But then you said this cross state lines thing. I was like, "Oh shit!"
I watched it this morning and I was just like, I'm talking like the second it started, I was like, fuck. Because going into it last night, I called Dylan and we were talking about this and I was just like, yeah, dude, you were definitely being because we used to get lots of political arguments. So I figured this would have been one of them and I was like, yeah, you were probably being such a pussy.
We were coming down off our radicalization at this point.
Oh yeah, we were wrapping it up.
Yeah, the
We were getting
radicalization
together.
levels were way less at this point.
Right.
If you're a new listener, 4 to 6 months prior to that, I was a full-blown communist.
And I was a full-blown, I don't know what I was going to say white supremacist, but that's not true at all.
No, it's not
never
true.
been.
No. I
But,
think you were a commie too, bro.
Commie?
Yeah.
I
You were a commie.
I was
You were back
fucking
and forth.
pinballing.
I didn't know what you were.
I was
We were
commie.
figuring it
I
out.
was confused. Right.
Hey, two friends figuring it out.
Who would have thought?
Who would have thought? So, one of the interesting things that I saw was I saw a tweet where someone was just like, "Oh man, I'm really circling back to this whole Kyle Rittenhouse thing, and I'm just like questioning. I'm like hearing about the trial and my entire perception, just because like things happen so quick that like it happens, you don't fucking think about it again, and now it's back. So you're like, oh, what did I think about that? And the person tweets like, I was in full blown belief that Kyle Rittenhouse killed two black people.
Oh yeah, there were. I forget
there's
whose video. There's tons of tweets like
Right.
that. Yeah.
So people are like mourning the loss. And it like if you didn't watch the trial or the situation, it like we said, it's a very complicated thing. He should have sat down and not gone probably, but lo and behold, he's there. It's the third day of like straight up rioting. People are like burning down fucking buildings. And this kid thought for whatever reason that he was going to defend the buildings.
Well, he was also providing medical support, and
Right.
he was a fireman, or was he a fireman? No, EMT or some shit.
So I think one of the first guys that he killed, like they were all like,
Joseph Rosenbaum,
yeah, Joseph Rosenbaum.
the rapist.
Right.
Joseph Rosenbaum.
Also,
the
there's
teacher?
a video.
Oh no,
of,
the rapist.
Like
Oh.
people are defending him, just being like, no, like they're like mourning the loss of this guy. There's a video of this guy at that thing screaming the N-word at the top of his lungs.
At a black guy.
At a black
And-
guy.
How do you think that went with the jury?
Right. I'm sure the jury really was like, oh man,
Right.
like
But I got a tweet from Mark Ruffalo 4 days ago.
Mark Ruffalo, the actor.
Mark Ruffalo, the
Hulk?
actor, the Hulk.
What a loser.
We come together to mourn the lives lost to the same racist system that devalues black lives and devalued the lives of Anthony and JoJo. JoJo. Hey, Mark.
They called Joseph Rosenbaum,
JoJo raped like 12 little boys, dude.
He raped
Like,
5
now-
boys. He got caught on 11 counts of child rape, anal rape, and like
We got to mourn that guy. We got to mourn him. He was
Who's
screaming
Anthony?
the N-word.
Who is Anthony?
20 minutes before he died at the top of his lungs. Anthony, I think, was the other guy.
When did Ruffalo tweet that?
4 days ago.
Bro, it's mainstream news now that Joseph Rosenbaum was a rapist and racist. It's mainstream, like that's like out now.
Like,
Mark,
that's a thing
you gotta
where it's like-
pull that back, guy.
Right. And that's the thing. I
Mark
think.
Ruffalo's mad, like shitty politically.
He
Like
is.
every time he tweets politically, it's
No,
like
he's very,
beat.
very liberal.
Yeah, it's
very
so
left leaning.
beat, dude.
But like, I think
Ugh.
my original thing at first, like going way back to it, was just like I was kind of like, oh, like you gotta let people. They're like uprising, and this is how they're like expressing themselves, and they're like all these different kind of feelings there. But like Joseph Rosenbaum, I don't think was there to protest the injustices. Like I think he was a fucking rapist criminal who was there to absolutely fuck shit up.
Dude,
That's all he was there for.
Dude, he got like discharged from like I want to say the hospital. Wait, that's not. He got discharged from either the hospital or literal prison and like walked to the protest. Like he just kind of stumbled upon him. I was like, fuck it. Like, let's go.
Yeah, he's a nut job loser. Nut job loser. And we're spinning him like you're spinning him.
Yeah.
And then some of the media is like, oh, they're trying to show his rap sheet, but that doesn't excuse his murder. No, it doesn't. But it does. It does.
Didn't he
vilify
pull a gun
you.
on him too?
No, he chased him down and was like trying to beat him up.
No, I thought
He was-
Joseph Rosenbaum was the one who pulled the gun, and then Rittenhouse shot him in the head.
No,
and then
the-
Rittenhouse ran, and then the other kid hit him with the skateboard, and then he shot that
The
guy.
one with the gun was the one he shot in the bicep.
Oh, so only one had a gun?
Unless both had a gun.
I
I don't know about Joseph having a gun. He may have had a knife on him,
Frankie, do you know?
Joseph Rosenbaum was unarmed.
unarmed.
Yeah.
But he was chasing him down. That's what they show in the drone footage of him like sprinting away, and then he cornered him, and then he shot him when he was literally cornered between like cars and shit. But another thing that kind of stuck out at me with this whole thing is like the movement and like the people protesting outside the courthouse. The whole movement behind the Rittenhouse case was like the what if he was a black kid, like this would be going so different. He would be in jail for his life. Like if he gets off, it just shows that there's white supremacy in this country because he's not, he's only getting off as not guilty because he's white, which we'll never know what the result would have been if he was black. But what like very, very much stuck out at me was it seemed like no matter what the facts were, because the facts were the facts and he was found not guilty, and the facts were he was clearly, whether you agree with the law or not, he was clearly defending himself, clearly. So it seemed like people were just hoping that a 17-year-old boy, or now 18, I guess, this 18-year-old boy was going to be wrongfully convicted and put in prison for life, wrongfully. That was the goal. Like, no matter what, that was what people wanted. And I think, and that would have proven that the injustice is like fading in this country somehow.
No,
the
I think it
racial
would have
injustice.
been equal to all like the
Yeah,
the reality is that
but,
like
like, to
black
make
people
up
do
for it.
get injust like
Right, but
they're
wait,
jailed for.
I hear you. I
Right.
hear you. I'm saying that you're looking for that to counter previous injustices.
Right, exactly.
Right. So instead of looking at like this injustice to cancel out previous injustices, I feel like you should hope. Oh shit! This fucking tall chair. I just fell. You should hope that the justice system works the way it worked in this case, because there was tons of noise from the outside pressuring the jury, tons of noise pressuring the judge, who is now being called a racist, even though he's a liberal judge, by the way, appointed by a Democrat.
Appointed by Obama.
Appointed by Obama. So you got people calling the judge a racist, like all this stupid news shit. And what people should really want is for the justice system to work like this. And we should look to it and say, like, this is how anybody should be treated.
Every single case.
Regardless of color. Like, you should want, whether he's white, black, you shouldn't be saying, we need injustice to be done to him to make up for what's been done to us. No, you want no more injustice, period.
Yeah.
End of story, because that's
100%.
how we get better going forward.
100%.
Like, how could you hope for that to happen to the next unfortunate black kid that's caught up in some fucked up situation to get treated right if you don't want this kid to get treated right? So, like, that whole argument makes no fucking sense. People need to kind of look at the facts and kind of calm down a little bit, and that's how I feel about the whole thing.
I agree. I think like that is a good example of that. Seemed like at first I was like, I didn't think it was for self-defense at all, and then I like watched the trial and I'm like, oh shit, like, and you could see the obvious way that the media spun it originally, and then how it kind of landed, and how they really just fucking jumped on all these talking points. And it was like when things were heightened, and like, I mean, that was a crazy fucking time where things were like the rioting and all that stuff. Like, they just jumped on it, sent it this way, boom, white supremacy, here we go. And it's like coming out the other side of it is like the justice system should work that way, and it should work that way for everyone, 100%. And everyone should want that, 100%.
Absolutely. And dude, the news is just clicks. Like the whole the riots and Trump being polarizing and pandemic, and then riots again. That's all good for the news. So the more they can inflate that shit, the more people are going to watch the news.
If it bleeds, it leads.
Facts. And this remember when we were talking about last night, when the headline came out, you had called me. You were like, dude, some kid, I've been reading this headline, some kid opened fire into a Black Lives Matter protest. First thing you think about is like racist white kid shooting a bunch of black people with a rifle in the middle. That's not at all what the actual story was, but that's how everybody thought it happened.
Right.
And it's like, that's just for the news, man. They need you to watch. They want you to tune in. They need you to get fucking pissed off. It's like insane. Insane.
It is insane. What else do we got? Anything else?
The last thing we got is
wrap
the
up?
Waukesha.
Oh yeah.
The Waukesha Christmas parade tragedy.
Which honestly,
Which is, it's a real quick
Well,
anecdote to what we've basically been talking about.
well, I was kind of gonna say that you say, I go, dude, a white kid just opened fire at a Black Lives Matter protest. Immediate picture painted in your head.
Right.
Versus, like a black man drives into was it like all white people?
It was a Christmas parade. It seems
Black people celebrate Christmas.
Yeah, but I feel like I
was
don't
a
want
white
to cast
Christmas?
a broad brush,
Yeah.
but I feel like parades are a super white thing. Parades just seem white. Like when I think of the grannies dancing, what they said like the granny group, I'm thinking of 4 white ladies.
Right,
personally.
right.
That's just what the image I get. But it could be, hey, that's just my bias.
And then it's well, these are all biases. I don't even know if this is true, but it's just like I know now that, and I don't stand on either of these takes because I haven't even seen the videos, but it's like immediately the liberal news is like downplaying it as just downplaying it generally. And then
It's
the
like we were
conservative
trying to figure out what happened.
And
Oh,
then
we
the
don't know.
conservative news is immediately like, they don't want to tell you that it was a black man who drove it into a white crowd and that it's racially charged. They don't want to tell you that. And it's so immediately like that. I'm like,
Boom.
Yo, we don't know yet.
Right.
We don't know yet.
Right.
Everyone could jump on that, but like, didn't we
Didn't we just learn from
Didn't
this?
we just do this 2 seconds ago?
just did
One
this.
state over, I think.
Exactly.
One
And
state over.
We just did. And by the way, you got exactly what you're saying. Like they're saying, they don't want to tell you it's a black guy because it doesn't fit the narrative, whatever. But then you think about like, if the roles were reversed and it was some white guy that drove a car through a, I don't know what a black parade would look like. I don't know why Black Parade. It's a good song. I don't know what a black parade would be, why there would be a black parade. But if there were a black parade, a Black Lives Matter protest, let's use that. Sure. If somebody drove a fucking car through a Black Lives Matter protest, the story would have a life of its own at this point. And the
Black
kid
Lives,
would be,
it's not exactly fair because Christmas for white people, I don't think is Black Lives Matter protest for black people.
I know. I'm just trying to think of a
Maybe
reason
like
that black
a-
people would just be congregating.
like-
What are you about to say that's going to be offensive?
No, it's not offensive. I know for a fact that there's like a.
I dare you to fucking say Kwanzaa, you piece of shit. I dare you.
No, I
dare
wasn't
you.
going to say Kwanzaa. There's a parade that black people celebrate in the summertime. I don't know what it is.
Bro,
but I remember.
Juneteenth.
No, it's not Juneteenth.
No, that's new.
I know for a fact because my neighbor at my parents' house, like 4 doors down, like every year, it's like this parade with black people that black people go and sell. I don't want to say a parade for black people. Like I don't want to say that. Because probably anyone could go.
I'm so
But black
shocked. You're
people
usually
go
so
and-
tiptoey around that you're just like going in and just saying, "Yeah, it's a black parade."
I'm not trying to be weird about it. It's like it's a parade that black people go to.
Yeah, there's
you
nothing
said black
weird.
people that go to parade. I know there is one, but I don't know what it's
Yeah,
called.
dude, there's nothing weird about a black parade.
Exactly. And my neighbor one time and I remember it happened in Brooklyn. And my neighbor who lives 4 doors down, it's a black family. He like knocked on everyone's door and was like, "Hey, I'm just letting you know that we're going to this parade in Brooklyn, and we come back and it's like our one time a year, and we have this massive fucking party, and we're gonna be partying till like literally 9 a.m. But it's the one time a year we do it. So like, I'm just letting you know that." And that night there were literally cars like fucking all the way down the street, like
Hell
so
yes.
many people were partying.
Fucking party.
So that parade.
So it's that parade.
Yeah.
So if a white guy, very white guy,
Right.
drove through that parade,
immediately,
think about what the news coverage would be. That's all I'm saying.
without even hesitation.
Like before you start like saying, "Oh, like if he was black, it'd be this." Sure, but if this guy was white, think about it for a second. It's not one-sided. Everything gets polarized. Everything gets very dramatized for the
Right.
whatever side. Don't let yourself fall into that kind of thinking. It's
Right.
not healthy. It's not real life.
And it could even be true. But just
It
like
could be true,
It could
but
be
like-
true. But like the dramatization of like every moment of your life is just like not good for you.
Right, but guess what?
You
Guess
gotta
what?
chill, Poppy.
Guess what? Even if they don't even know if this guy is driving through this parade was like a racially motivated thing
Right.
or whatever, but like just because this happened or something like this happens and like the guy happens to be black or the guy happens to be white doesn't mean it's a race thing automatically. Like, because the media will find a way to be like, is it a race thing? Well, maybe it is. And then it's planted in your head. And then, like, it runs away. And then Rachel Maddow is like, he hates black people. And
Yeah.
you're like, what? So, like, it's not automatically a race thing every time. If you're letting yourself always think it's a race thing, it's always going to be a race thing.
Right.
Like, it's always going to be a race thing. We're going to have more fucking
And if you let yourself
parade.
think it's a Bill Gates thing every time, you are correct.
You are correct. And on that note, it's Bill Gates. And honestly, this show is probably canceled as of tomorrow because I think we just blew the lid off of the Gates shit.
Happy Thanksgiving. Have a wonderful week.
Yeah, have a wonderful week. Give thanks. Eat a bunch of food. Hurt your tummy. And we
see you
love you.
next
We'll see you
week.
next week.
Peace.